How's it guys, Munash here, and today we have Nick Fury against Abyss of Legends Quake. Now this fight isn't particularly too difficult as long as you use a champ who can regularly apply bleed debuffs or has a decent crit rate, then you pretty much take care of her Abyssal ability. So all it does is increase her meter by, I believe it's 1 every second, and then when it gets to 100 you instantly die. But landing a crit will reduce it by 8, and then inflicting a bleed debuff will reduce it by 15. So you can sort of ignore the Abyssal ability, and then it's basically like just fighting a really stacked Quake. And that's all I really wanted, because I really just wanted to do this fight to see how much damage my rank 3 Nick Fury can do against a 5.8 million health Abyss opponent, with class advantage but without any limitations to his damage output. Because I remember when I fought Abyss Yellow Jacket with Nick Fury, I couldn't always get the perfect damage output because, first of all, his special attacks are unblockable, so you can't always end your combo the way you want to depending on how you are with dexing the special 1. And then the special 2 applies a passive power sting, so you can't really throw special attacks after that. So at least with Quake I can throw special attacks whenever I want to without any problems. The only thing that kind of hurt my max damage a little bit is that I did start with a full health Nick Fury with the decoy. So I had to get rid of that first before I can start doing some serious damage. Which is why I got hit by the special 2, because the other thing is you do lose charges or hits every time you get hit. So I wanted to make sure it's a special 2 at least, because that can do a lot more damage for very few hits. I was also quite fortunate that the last hit crits, and then she pushes me to a special 3 while I get into the real Nick Fury stage. Then I can just throw a special 3 which does a good amount of damage, nearly 50,000. Then I just use mediums and heavy attacks to apply a lot of bleeds very quickly so I can get the internal bleed, because that will increase the duration of your bleed debuffs for each tactical charge that you have. So as usual in Abyss, I'm going to throw 2 special 1s to get 16 charges and be completely unblockable. So now I'm pretty much set up for the fight. I just want to make sure I avoid that special 1. Don't even parry it because it can still apply earthquake charges through your block, and yeah, that's quite annoying sometimes when it does actually inflict a stun on you because it's only 10% per charge, but it still happens like it's 100% sometimes. But at least Nick Fury is stun immune in the second phase, so you don't have to worry about that. It's just the damage that it actually deals with the aftershock. So here I'm just throwing a special 2 to get the internal bleed again. Otherwise I would just wait for the special 3 because that can do more damage per hit. And then usually when the internal bleed is up, I just like to do quadruple light attacks. So 4 light attacks without any mediums, just to get the big bleed, and then being unblockable just helps get in a lot more bleeds before the internal bleed expires. So I went into this fight knowing that I would need to use 1 revive to get it down with Nick Fury, because I don't think he can solo it, at least not without any serious boosting. But I still wanted to see how much damage Nick Fury would do in one fight, because this is a fight that I've only ever done once before, which was almost exactly a year ago. It was the last Saturday of January, the same week Abyss came out. And back then I didn't have Nick Fury. Well, I had him, but he wasn't awakened and he was still rank 2 at the time. So I used Aegon and Style Spidey for this fight. They both work pretty well. Aegon makes it fairly straightforward. Style Spidey can actually solo it, but it's actually very difficult to do just because of how Quake behaves in that last phase, well, after you run out of charges, because she can throw some random heavy attacks sometimes which can apply some aftershock stuns, and the damage itself can also mess you up. So Nick Fury is definitely my favorite counter for this fight because he just makes it fun. You get to see some very nice numbers, really satisfying red numbers, and even the crits are pretty good. Then he also counters 2 of the most annoying mechanics in this fight for me, which are the evade, the Abyss evade, and then the aftershocks can't stun him since he is immune. So just to give a quick summary, I ended up taking Quake down to 37% health in one fight, which is about 3.7 million damage, which I think is pretty impressive. Could have been a bit more if I started the fight without the decoy, because I had to use a couple of hits just to get set up for this fight. So then I was thinking maybe with max boosts he can solo this fight, or even with suicides if you just play it right, you know, because you only need to throw 2 special 1s and then you can just throw special 3s to avoid recoil. And the special 3 damage with suicides is actually quite nice, but you would still need to run max deep wounds with suicides. So yeah, Nick Fury works really well for this fight. I mean, 3.7 million damage in one go, whichever way you look at it.
Oh, that's a lot of damage!
So yeah, that's all I have to say for this one. I hope you guys found it interesting. Thank you for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.